Hi, this is Travis, here in place of Barry the Movie Demon tonight. I'm going to do another makeup video, and you probably wonder why I'm dressed as like a blinged out preacher. This is for a LARP that I go to called Mnemos. It's a horror steampunk LARP, or horror Victorian LARP. It's very fantasy based. The races that you can play are lineages or species, whatever you want to call it. There are several. Only one is human. Everything else requires some form of makeup, even if it's just dark eyeshadow. Some of them are anthropomorphic animals, and that's what I'm going to show you tonight. The character I play there is the Salish race or lineage, and they are reptile people. I do have a tail that I made. I'm not going to show you the tail. It's just the thing that I wear on my waist. Excuse me. And this is the outfit. The Salish grow large scales. I usually have some motocross armor underneath to bulk myself up. They get more health than other people because of it, but they wear loose-fitting, baggy clothing, specifically called out in the book as caftans and robes, I believe. And this is a caftan, and this is a vest. My character is wealthy, and I have to choose the wording carefully because the original character concept used the term pimp, because that's essentially what he was, and some people want it more kid-friendly, so I had to change what I use. I'm just getting my makeup kit here, but I want to show you the makeup I do. People were always like, "Oh yeah, that's really nice. How long does it take?" I don't know what to say because I never time myself, but we're gonna find out. I'm just gonna get some materials out really quickly. I've got a few things that I use. Eyeliner pencil, but all black, and it's not for the eyes. I have yellow Maron aqua color paint, which I usually use. I'm gonna just use the eyeshadow stuff today because I don't actually have a thing of water here to use it with, and then I use some setting spray, which I'm not going to do, but I can get by with an eyeshadow palette for the yellow. And I've got, and these are really cool, these things. These are cake stencils, but I use them to draw on my scales. Get my color palettes. I've got a couple brushes. Here's my other cake stencil. I think that's it. I'm going to use this little one too. And grab another brush just in case I need another brush. And we're going to get started. The reason that I chose what I did as a character concept, and I still stick to it, I just use a more family-friendly term, I suppose, is the mechanics of Mnemos. And I like to build my characters based on the mechanics. That way the gameplay reinforces what my character does and says. I hate it when there's a huge disconnect, like, oh, well, I'm this thing, even though the gameplay doesn't really show that or allow it. I don't like that at all. So I went with a particular mechanic, and I'll explain as I go here. I'm going to start with the yellow. I looked at a lot of pictures of geckos and things. I found some yellow and white ones. His name is basically a joke about Pittsburgh, so I might as well look like a rejected Pittsburgh Steelers mascot. Yellow, white, and black. So here we go with some yellow. I'm using some yellow eyeshadows here. This is a Spectrum palette, Profusion Spectrum. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty old. You buy these at Walmart for $5 or $6. And I do not all over, but a lot of the face. The good thing about the eyeshadow, as opposed to the aqua colors, is that I can get up in my hairline and make it look like the yellow and other colors, which is white generally, extend up into the hairline. It doesn't just stop and then you see skin color. This is a sort of heavy makeup LARP. There are wolf people, cat people, lizard people, little gremlin people, elves, but they're called something else. There's people with antlers, humans, goth humans, or they call them darklings. They live underground, so they see at night, and they get basically black eyeshadow. There's a lot. And I'm not going to go over them all, but the game mechanic that I chose getting my nose on top of my head here, is the gathering mechanics. Now, a lot of LARPs have gathering and crafting. This one has both. But it's not like my main LARP, which is Dystopia Rising, or it has been for the last 10 years anyway, where you're going out in the woods and finding cards that the staff has hidden in the woods and turning those in for resources, and that's your gathering. No, Mnemos is like, we're old, we don't want to go do that. Go in, you get gather points every 12, every midnight, every noon, and you just go to the desk and say, here's my gather points, give me my stuff. Because none of us want to go out in the middle of the woods all the time just to get a little bit of in-game resources. I'm not going to go all the way back to the back of my neck, because I'm just doing this at home for a demonstration. You know what, let's do it. I'm not going to do the ears though, because my ears are hard to clean. I don't like to get water in them that much, and I want to take this off at some point here. I do pretty much the whole face yellow. I do leave some spots open. You'll see around the eyes and back here on both sides, and then the chin. I like to leave open, and I make them white. Sorry, I make them white. This takes a significantly longer amount of time to use eyeshadow because it doesn't cover as well. Normally at game I'll use aqua color. It also stays on really well. Aqua color is water activated, but it doesn't just smudge right off. It takes a lot to take it off. So I kind of prefer it. There we go. Getting yellow. I mean, this is not the best job, best coverage I've ever done or anything. I also don't have the best lighting, so I can't really see it all that well. You see it better on camera than in my mirror here, because the lighting's not great for makeup. But ooh, that forehead actually looks really bad. The hard part about doing this in camera is everything's reversed, so I want to move my hand the wrong way all the time. Yep, going way too far to the side. That's okay. And like I said, the aqua color covers faster. It also covers better. I'm sorry that my yellow looks a little sloppy. Anyway, back to gathering. The gathering mechanics that I did, and these are all based on the skill trees that you choose or unlock with your experience points, but gathering I did was the road of prosperity. I wanted to say progress, but that's wrong. Prosperity, which is either merchant or capital. And capital is just money, so I took money, because money is used for everything, so I figured I could do whatever I want. And I was right. But the road of riches is the subset of the prosperity that I do, and road of riches is just show up, get money, go home. And I immediately thought, well, what could I do that reinforces that? And then I thought of the Wayne Brady episode of the Chappelle Show where he goes and stops and just collects his money because Dave needed cash. And I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do. There, that's yellow enough. Put this away. I can't tell you what this palette is. This is a very old, very used up, because I'm going to need to get more. Eyeshadow palette. It has white, silver, and black. I'm just going to use the white, and we're going to go and do around the eyes and out towards the temples, and then do the chin. You could use any makeup for this, honestly. You could use cream makeup, the cheap stuff from Halloween that they sell in all the stores. You could use grease paint. You could get really, really white foundation. I actually like using cosmetics because they stick better and they look better. The cheap Halloween stuff just never looks good. It's not bad. You notice I'm not even worrying too much about coverage because other things go on top of this. This is not just, oh, he paints himself yellow and white. Those cake stencils come into play. The normal trick for getting quick scales is throw a fishnet stocking on your head, then dab some makeup on. And I did that the first time, and then I got these stencils. And I like these a whole lot better. I'll try and put a link in the description for everything that I can that I'm using, including the stencils. You get a lot of them, but I only need really 2, but I'm going to use 3 because I have them. You get ones that don't apply, like cheetah print and stuff, but there's nothing stopping you from using it. It just doesn't scream lizard when you put it on the way that scales do. Good enough, I think, for that. That's going to go down. Now the other palette that I'm going to use here is Profusion Dreamscape. This is also from Walmart. This is like $12 or $13 because it's a lot bigger. It comes with its own brush. So got a lot of nice colors. And we are going to do contouring, which is, hopefully you can see it, the surreal. It's kind of a green color. I do a little contouring first before I do anything else. I'm not like a master of this either, but I'm doing it. Nothing I do is by any means the correct way of doing it. I do what I do and it looks okay, enough for me. A little darker on the right than the left, so let's try and fix it, normalize it, whatever you want to say. Not bad, okay. A little bit up here. This is basically how I do zombie makeup too. I sink in the temples and the cheeks, and you don't have to do this step even. It looks fine without it. Just like to change up my face a little bit. Alright. Next. And I really wish that I hadn't misplaced the glasses that I wear with this, but I wear like red sunglasses with flames, or rimless sunglasses, and they have like a dragon and flames. They're awesome. I wish I could find them. But I'm going to go into this hypnotic. It's sort of like a pink. Just hit the eyes. Because of course this character would wear some eye makeup because he's fancy. He's extremely fancy. And rich. I love playing the rich guy because, like, very first game, somebody was making a list of the town's problems, and one of them was that nobody had money, so I took my bag and dumped out just a big pile of money under the table in front of them. That was fun. I'm going to use this scale pattern for most of the scales I'm doing. The thing I've noticed, like this green's darker than the yellow. If I put something on the yellow, it's got to be dark. So I'm going to go into, I can't really show you because I got this thing in my hand, but Zen, which is like a really dark color. And I'm going to hold this tight against my face and dab this onto the scales. And there you go, there's some scales. Let's do the other side. Okay, that's not the cleanest I've ever done, but it's okay. In the green areas, it's a little darker, so I need to go with light. There's one in here that's like a powder blue called Cloud 9. We're going to try that. Down here. It doesn't really show up very well. Okay, so let's not do that. Let's go with their Tranquility, which is just a blue. Go back here where there's still some yellow. We'll throw some of that in. You could coordinate your colors better. And I change the colors up for these scales, and I do usually gradients. It depends on how much time I actually want to spend doing this, honestly. This character also like runs a restaurant at the game, so I'm usually stocking the kitchen and things like that. When I do my nose scales, I use the other template. This one is all kinds of weird patterns, and I use gold glitter makeup. And I pick one about that. I just put some gold across the nose. There we go. It's gold. I mean, I like to show off wealth in this character. Throw a little gold in the eyes. Okay, so we gotta do something down here. Next is the chin. Sorry if I keep looking away. I have a mirror here, and I see way better in the mirror than I do on this camera. Plus, I gotta look down to see the display, so sorry about that. I'm gonna go into this light blue, not quite the Cloud9, it's called Dreamy. This one here has different size and like very regular scales. I'm gonna put that on the chin. You can get away with lighter colors on white. Darker colors show up better, but you can get away with pretty much anything. And then I'm going to go to that Tranquility, the darker blue, towards the bottom and make sort of a gradient effect. It goes from lighter to darker. I got scales on the chin. Now you say the forehead's empty. That's by design. There it is. I have this black eyeliner. Any gel or a cream eyeliner should work fine. I'm going to show you the one thing I do first, which is the nose. I put little slits. That didn't work. There it goes. Need to get a little closer so I can see. Sorry. I'll try and zoom it in. I think they're a little crooked, but yeah, they're pretty crooked. Sorry, but it gives the appearance of like a slit nose, like a short snout. And I do this up here. I saw this on a couple makeups, and then it honestly reminds me of a dinosaur, and I can't remember the name of it. But it's kind of like armor plating or very large, wide scales. And I like to connect them like that. This eyeliner tends to not smudge very much. Plus I wear a hat, so like if it does, you probably won't see it. There. That's more or less it. I gotta do some shading on those top scales. Now, I don't want to go nuts on that one. So I go with like this green, the stuff I used for the contouring. I'm gonna lift the hair up here. I like to do just some green here and then kind of pull it down. So it looks kind of like, this looks like a shadow or shading. It didn't go on as well as I had hoped, but in the past I've done other things here, but I think this looks slightly more natural. Kind of looks like the scales overlap, which is how scales look, because they do, generally. Nobody's going to see up here in the hairline, but I'm going to put it in anyway, because I'm already up there. And that's more or less it. I mean, I usually, like I said, do a slightly better job on these scales. They're not as smudgy. If I was at game and I really wanted to look good, I would take it off and start over. But that's more or less it. I'm not going to hit it with setting spray, but I am going to put on my hat. I love this hat. I'm usually wearing a belt and a big red sash, like a sheer scarf that wraps around me a couple times and I tie it off. Good gold trim, belt with a sword, belt with a pouch full of money. This thing, the red sunglasses. I had a dragon-headed pimp cane, but it got broken last game. It snapped clean in half, so I don't have that anymore. And I had some rings, and I don't know where they are. But I wear a lot of jewelry. I'm going to buy some bracelets from somebody there that sells them, just to add to the lizard bling. I would like to have lizard gloves, but when I have gloves on, I kind of can't function. I need to be able to touch things with my fingers, or I can't manipulate them. I even have trouble picking things up off the table with gloves. But that's it, and I have the tail usually. This is him. That's a basic lizard makeup. All you really need is either a fishnet stocking or those cake stencils or something to put scales on. You can draw them on by hand if you want to take all the time to do it. I usually don't want to spend forever there. I also need to get like a lipstick or something that's like green or yellow, just around the look out a little. Maybe actually do eyeliner, but I hate things touching my eyes, so I'm probably never going to do eyeliner. But yeah, this is the quickie lizard makeup. A note about the species or the lineage, Salish, they are, in Mnemos terms, basically the people that are more connected to the land of the dead. They call it the calm lands. The Salish are in tune with it more. Every lineage has birthright skills that you can purchase with experience, and their high level one, you basically let an ancestor spirit live through you, and you coordinate with the staff as to what that ancestor might want to do. Once you fulfill that, you get a bunch of Vim back, which is your points that fuel your skills. You spend Vim to use skills. If it's Vim that has to do with the ephemera path of magic, which is the dealing with spirits path, you get twice as much. And every lineage has a skill like that on their birthright, because every lineage is tied to a path of magic. They're not required to use it, but I did go with ephemera for this character just because it has some combat potential, and I wanted a little bit of combat potential. I wanted to be able to fight things, which may be able to fight ghosts now. I'm one of the people in town who can actually harm spirits if needed. So I just went with that. Most of the other Salish characters also did. I don't know if that was just because that birthright is so good. I like most of the other ones better. Like the one where we can survive without air for an hour. The one which is not a birthright, but it's another skill tied to the lineage, where we can practically eat anything, and we can store things in our stomach and regurgitate them, which is kind of fun. They wouldn't let me eat the liquefied body of the mayor last game. He got killed and turned into goo, and they're like, no, you can't eat him. And I was like, I want to gain his power and become mayor. No, you can't eat him, that's cannibalism. He's just goo. Still cannibalism. But they're fun. Every lineage has a cool thing. They all have something awesome. The Wolven, the wolf people, can lick wounds. They can just lick themselves and heal themselves a little bit. The Rukon, the cat people, have balance. Like, they can balance on things, and they can basically get through a lot of things. They can see in the dark. They get to carry a red flashlight at night. The Darklings also get the red flashlight. They get some stuff that has to do with working together as a unit, because they're very military-minded. Humans learn really fast and like know they're connected. They know people for things. Everybody's got a cool thing. I think the Highborn can speak to elementals or something, or I don't know. I didn't read up on every single lineage, but they're all tied to a path of magic, which is tied to the gathering and crafting underneath it. It's a very interconnected system, and I'm just playing to the Salish, which is the ghosty stuff. But check out Mnemos. They're in Northern Virginia. Prince William County Forest Park, I believe, is the full name of the park. It's in Triangle, Virginia, and it's about every 2, sometimes 4 months. They took a very long break over the winter because we didn't really want to LARP in sub-freezing temperatures all that often. But it's a pretty fun game. It's not super combat heavy, so if you don't want to do something where you're gonna get beat up a lot. It's pretty good. It's very roleplay heavy, makeup heavy, very character driven game. I've got my wife and kid to go last time, and they enjoyed it. We all kind of just made food the whole time for people and sold food. I made a joke that I was trying to stay under the amount of money I started with, and I wasn't able to do it. I have a whole lot of resources I bought, but I made so much money, in-game money, not real money, that I couldn't even stay below the 80 that I started with that game. So yeah, it's fun. Come out. If your character needs a job, I'm sure I'll find them one, as there's a lot of things I do, and I'd rather not do them all myself. But yeah, this is the makeup more or less. You see me like this there. Maybe slight color variations. I like to do different things to the cheeks, and I don't always do the green contouring. And I usually have a little plushie on my shoulder, which is a little like T-Rex. I got it, I think, Ocean City. It has a magnet and it goes under a metal plate under your shirt, and he just sticks there. And that's my child. I'm opening a new business out here on the frontier to show him how to run a business. My whole thing, even though my home business is basically a brothel, I opened a restaurant. I'm opening legitimate businesses, building town infrastructure, showing him how to become his own man, basically. And he's only this big, so he's got a long way to go. It's just another cool little thing I do. Something to make the character stand out, other than I have the biggest, featheriest hat in town. But it's steampunk based, so you'll see a lot of people in brown vests or suits, stuff like that. The Sylvan tend to dress more hippie druid, I guess. Like they're the woods people, but everybody else is either like a tinkerer or business person or our doctor wears a vest and a shirt and tie. So it's pretty easy to costume for. You can just get like a button down white shirt and a vest and you're set. Or any dress, or I mean, for Salish you can just wear a robe. Wear a really big bathrobe. Get a karate uniform and throw that on. I mean, it's a little weird, but the Salish wear weird things. If you want to play one of the animal races, tails are very easy to make. I can show you how I made mine sometime. But take a look. It's Mnemos, spelled Mnemos, or mnemoslarp.com. You can go there. I'll put the link down in the description and check them out. April 26th, I believe, is can't remember the date, but I'll put it on the screen if I was wrong. April 26th is the next game, and like I said, they run about every 2 months. And we're talking about doing a social gathering at some point, maybe like a formal dance or dinner type thing, where we dress up in even nicer clothes, if that was even possible. And just get together and role play and no combat, no economics, just hang out. It's a nice group of people, and new LARPers, it's a very easy system to get into. Character building's a little wonky to wrap your head around. As soon as you get it, you're pretty much set. And we can help you. There's people that are always willing to help. And food, we have all the food you could ever need. Somebody's always making something. So I'm going to sign off here and go clean up and change back into normal clothes. And I'm going to get more videos made for this channel. I'm going to be at Gross Fest in August again this year. I think it's the first weekend in August. Monroeville, Pennsylvania, right outside Monroeville. Check it out, grossfest.com. It's a independent local horror movie convention. There's actors, directors there, people selling their movies, people promoting their movies, and then other vendors. I'm going to be there as a vendor. I was last year. I sold the candy popcorn from the very first video I ever made, and the marshmallows from the one that was newest right before this one. And I sold DVDs of Season 2, Episode 1, 2, and 3, each with a cooking video tacked onto the end. Everything was $5. Anything you want on my table is $5. My wife also has a table for her business, her Etsy business, and my kid sets up some stuff and sells some things too, right in between us. So part of my table was that. But anything on my side of the table, $5. Plus, I'm gonna have this laptop here showing episodes the whole time, Friday and Saturday. So come by, see me, see us, buy some stuff maybe, buy some marshmallows. I do have an Etsy store for those now, but it's gonna be a whole lot cheaper to buy them in person at Gross Fest. And I think it's like $15 or something. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen again, just like before. It's pretty cheap. It's not like, you're not going to see Steven Spielberg there, but you're going to see like local people. Steve Rodzinski from Silver Spotlight from Pittsburgh is going to be there. I know that much. He's their Lifetime Achievement Award winner. So I expect him to be there forever. But I'll see you there. I'll be in Barry's makeup at that point with the tie and the shirt and everything. Just like last year, selling the YouTube channel, selling the show to people on DVD, $5 at a time. And until then, I will see you at the movies. Have a good night.